That's it, yeah, it's down there. Yeah. It's down there, the spray shop. We cash your cars, mate. Number 34A, yeah. We cash your cars, mate. We cash your cars, mate.
You just saw the sinister moment the child killer Axel Cabana took a cab to the child dance studio, and he didn't even pay the taxi driver when the taxi driver asked him cash or card. He knew he didn't have to pay the taxi driver because what he was about to do was about to affect many lives, including his own. He knew he wasn't about to get out of this situation, so why is he going to pay for a cab? Very sinister stuff. Now before we even got to the cab, he left his... Now before all of that, CCTV shows him leaving his house on the day of the attack and then going to a bus stop. Now at that bus stop, he called the taxi that he was going to take to the child studio. You can see him covering his face, looking very suspicious in the taxi. And to be honest, that taxi driver is very lucky himself. He didn't know what type of beast he was in the car with at that moment. And in these haunting last clips, you can see him try and get into the door of the studio. He can't get in. Then he notices an open door. He then walks through the door and goes up the stairs. And we all know what happened next. It was even revealed today that he told police, "I'm glad they're dead." Obviously talking about the little girls he's just killed. He just got sentenced today in court and the judge gave him 52 years. Which is sort of a relief because yesterday I read the report and then reported myself that under 18s can't get life sentences, and he was 17 at the time.
On counts 1 to 3 murder, I sentence him to custody for life, with a minimum term which he must serve in custody of 52 years. Accordingly, in total, I sentence Cabana to 13 sentences of custody for life and a minimum term to be served in custody of 51 days and 190 days. It is highly likely that he will never be released.
Now, I've never seen a judge mess up like that before, but he just said 51 days and 190 days when actually we all know he got sentenced to 51 years and 190 days. But then the judge explains why he isn't getting sentenced for a terrorism charge.
The prosecution have made it clear that these proceedings were not acts of terrorism within the meaning of the terrorism legislation, because there is no evidence that Cabana's purpose was to advance political, religious, racial or ideological cause. I must accept that conclusion.
On top of that, tensions are rising. There's loads of protesters and angry Merseyside residents outside the Merseyside court where Axel has just been sentenced. So it seems the people are not happy with the fact that he got 52 years. They want more justice, basically.
Here we go, he's on that. Scumbag!
You can watch the full clip in my previous post. Now, a couple people pointed out yesterday when I made my post about Axel starting the riots in the UK, they pointed out that it wasn't actually Axel that started the riots, it was the influencers and online posters that were spreading misinformation. And it seems the police agree with this. How do you feel?
I think we saw, a lot of disinformation and misinformation being spread on those social media sites, and they knew what was happening. There was violent thuggery taking place on the streets of Merseyside, where those websites, where those channels were calling for people to go out onto the streets. They were conspiring and causing people and encouraging people to commit acts of violence and acts of criminal damage. The social media companies need to take some responsibility for that. So we knew there was a name circulating on social media. We said that wasn't the name. And in my first press conference, I was able to say that we knew that the suspect was originally from Cardiff. As soon as we knew that the suspect was born in Cardiff, we clarified, and I said that in my next statement.
Streetcam.uk. Follow for more.